Welcome, friends and family. So excited to be here with you today as we continue on our journey of what it takes to be a professional top producer in life, in real estate, in HVAC, in plumbing, in being a father, being a husband, a wife, a mother. What does it take to be a professional top producer? And the word I really want to kind of emphasize is always professional. Right? I think we can be top producers, but we're not doing a how to be a slimy top producer or how to be the biggest weasel top producer, because I think you got a lot of that goes along with being top producers in any industry, right? Like there's people out there that know how to take as much as they can and give as little as possible. They're living in big houses, driving nice cars, but that to me is not what it takes when you emphasize that word professional. Top producer. So I hope that helps you understand the journey that we're wanting to take here. So I just want to try to connect some of the dots today with stories. That's the way I learn, is through people telling stories, and I like to tell stories. So, when I first met my wife, Lindsay, she came off the cruise ship where she worked for Holland America, big cruise liner, served an older group, like the Carnival. For all those cruisers out there that like to cruise, the Carnival is more the party ship. My wife was in Britain when her dad encouraged her to, if she wanted to travel, go on those cruise ships. That's a great way to get to travel. And so she listened to her dad, went on. She went through their whole process, and they ended up choosing her to go to work for Holland America. At first she was like, why Holland? Carnival's the most people. It's kind of got the name for being a fun ship. She said, why would they put me on this cruise liner? But the thing is that they seen that she could cater to a more classier, older group. And so on Holland America, she was a massage therapist, and she worked with those folks, did a great job. But one of the first things they taught Lindsay when she came on the cruise ship is something called DISC. So today what I want to talk about is how I think all professional top producers know how to read people. They know how to get on with people. They know how to connect quickly with people. And how do we do that? DISC is kind of a shorthand in how to read people very quickly. So Lindsay learned DISC while on the cruise ships. When me and Lindsay first met, she had met Jane Wright while on the cruise ship. I was working at Century 21 at that time as a sales agent there. Jane Wright asked Lindsay to come back to America. Lindsay did take her up on it, came back on a 10-day visa. While she was here, Miss Wright said, hey, I know this guy, he's not got a whole lot going on. He'd love to show you around. Miss Wright introduced Lindsay to me, and at that time I didn't have a whole lot going on. I was glad to show Lindsay around. 17 years later, still showing Lindsay around. Super excited and thankful for that. Lindsay talked to me about the DISC. She was one of the first people that introduced me to the DISC. Fast forward, married, had my first child, and I'm in training with Crylike. They had a coach, Coach Joe Lehman. Wonderful man. Love Coach Joe. He was my coach for over 13 years. He invited me out to the Mike Ferry organization, who he was a coach for. And one of the first things, Mr. Mike Ferry, who is by far one of the best coaches in North America, one of the first things he started talking about was DISC and the value of DISC and how learning people's personality styles helps in any sales profession. But again, this doesn't help in just sales professions. This helps in marriages and raising children. Everybody's a little different, right? Learning how to shorthand and quickly read people helps so much in sales. And I think that is what helps a professional. And here's the thing. Me and Lucas, my good friend Lucas, a dear friend of mine now for over 4 years, like a brother. Now, I'm going to say this. 95% of the clients we work with, Jules. Lucas and I will probably work together. Lucas, even more than me, will work with probably 200 sets of listings in a year. Different people, different personality styles. He's only talking to them on the phone. And in the course of a year, I would say that we'll have about 5% that are just super hard to get along with. Like they're negative, they always think you're out to beat them, and right off the bat, they're just a challenge. Recently, we've had one of those and are kind of going through it even right now as we speak. But what we know from studying the DISC, learning personality styles, this isn't just necessarily, this isn't a bad guy. This is a high driver in the DISC. And he is naturally a little paranoid. We're dealing with a $600,000-$700,000 value of his, probably in his life. his absolute greatest value outside of hopefully his wife and his family. And so, and he's moving to go closer to family. So not only is he selling a home, he's going to be moving to a different state. So we naturally see this guy get agitated. This driver comes up, nothing we do is good enough. But we take this approach of remembering like, okay, this guy, shorthand on the disc, he's a driver. He's going to naturally be like this. We can't take it personal. We have to separate that and just continue to serve him in hopes that we get the results that we get with 98% of our clients that would say that we're delivering phenomenal 5-star service. And so that's our approach. And it was so cool because the other day, working through this process of helping this gentleman sell his home, I'm included in a text that Lucas was in, and he said, Lucas, you're a saint. He said, you're a saint. So we don't just naturally like being untrusted. We don't naturally like somebody saying what we're doing is not good enough. But we understand, hey, this guy, he's not like me. He's not a, you know, in the disc, if we were to say somebody's a driver, we'd like say that's like sandpaper. They're rough. They're just rough people, like John Wayne. They just come in and they're rough. And then if we were to say somebody's a high I, expressive, life of the parties, always smiling, they're like confetti, right? These people bring life with them, enjoy with them everywhere they go. And there's a lot of folks out there like that. And then when we talk about the S style in the disc, they're amiable, they're friendly, they're trusting people, and they're super kind. And we would say they're kind of like water, right? They're fluid. There's more, you got to have water. They're fluid. They can just go with the flow. They're easy to get along with. Even if a hardcore driver comes in and kind of starts stepping heavy, it will upset them, but they'll still be that fluid to help serve that person even when they're being a little cranky. Your clerical personalities you're seeing the disc, these are people that are, they need a reason to be right. They're always very accurate. They want precision. Sometimes they get caught a little bit too much in their own mind, like they overthink things a little bit. Maybe they spend way longer. Sometimes it's like, hey man, that's 90% good. I think we can move on. No. We still got to get it to 100. So they'll get stuck sometimes. We like to look at these people as kind of like a dictionary, right? They're accurate, and they want it to be 100% accurate. It takes all kinds of people, guys, to make up this beautiful place we call the earth, the world. And there's all kind of people, all kind of different cultures, all kind of different backgrounds. But if you learn some personality styles, it can really help you flow in life and be that professional top producer. Where we try to, in sales, if I try to sell to that dictionary, that clerical personality, like confetti, man, this is great. Don't you love this? Don't you see this? Can't you see that? And they want some factual questions answered. And I can't figure out why they're not just writing up a contract yet. And I'm being impatient and really stepping over their feelings by not answering their questions. Like, that's a dumb question. Can't you see the value? Couldn't you see this here? I'm just going to upset that person. But when I can learn to sell to people like they want to be sold to, man, that's when you really can hook up and move. So if there's a clerical that wants to know everything about the neighborhood and everything about the houses around it, you know, very thorough personality, then I have to slow down my pace. My natural pace is to go real fast, but I have to slow that down for them, appreciate them, and try my best to answer those questions. I have found that a lot of times they already know the answer. You just got to kind of go through that process to help them get there. So guys, I really want to talk today about the value of understanding personalities, how valuable that is. I think it can help us get through the earth a lot better. It will really help you not just as a professional in your work, but in your life. I think this works with sons and daughters. I think this works with husbands and wives. Me and my wife were complete opposites all the time. There's a little bit of friction there, but then I got to remember, okay, she's speaking driver. I got to learn how to speak a little driver. She's speaking, she's needing that dictionary. I've got to slow down a little bit and help talk through that process. So man, it helps marriages. When I'm talking about being a professional in life, folks, I want to just challenge you. Study personality styles a little bit. It's going to be worth your time. Learn patterns that help you get on in life and be a professional. Not just run over people and get what you want in slimy ways, but do it in the right way. And you can still get what you want. Zig Ziglar said it best. He said, you help enough people get what they want then one day you'll have what you want. I want to leave you with that, folks. If we can do anything to help you, please let us know. Hey, we're going to start Tuesday here in office, 8:45, right here at the Elevate office, 8:45 a.m. to about 9:30 Tuesday. We're going to do some disc training right here in this office at 1400 Neal Street. If you're interested, shoot me a text, 931-260-8622, or just reply to this video and let us know. We'd love to see you here. Thank you.